Thank you. It's been a pleasure to rejoin the committee after a decade of absence. I believe that science will transform our lives even more this century than it did last century. If someone's describing what the future will be 30 years from now, and they paint a picture that you think looks like a science fiction movie, they might be right. They might be wrong. But if somebody paints a picture that doesn't look like a science fiction movie, you know they're wrong. We're going to be living in a science fiction movie. We just don't know which one yet. There is an issue, something in the world more explosive than nuclear fusion, and that is intelligence. After all, it is intelligence that allows us to develop nuclear fusion. We now have two groups of scientists working to develop new levels of intelligence. They are the computer engineers on the one hand and the bioengineers on the other. The last time a new higher level of intelligence appeared on this planet is when our ancestors said hello to the Neanderthal. We then said goodbye to the Neanderthal. As we develop intelligent computers, we will find them useful tools. As we find them useful tools, we will use those tools to develop faster and smarter computers. We had a hearing in this room in 2003 in which experts said that computers would reach human intelligence within 25 years. I think they might have been a little premature. It might be 30, might be 35 years from 2003, which means next decade or the decade after. There are those who say that even if a computer is intelligent and malevolent, it's in a box and can't affect the world. But I believe there are those of our species who would sell hands to the devil in return for a good stock tip. What I do draw solace from is that computers may be intelligent, but that does not mean they'll be self-aware or ambitious. By ambitious, I mean a desire to protect themselves, expand, and affect the world so that they can do that. My pet mouse, my computer doesn't seem to care whether I turn it off or disassemble it. A mouse does. That leads us to the next form of enhanced intelligence, and that is what the bioengineers are doing. They can start with human DNA, and we're alarmed by what happened in China, where the CRISPR technology was used to create a, quote, designer baby. And they could also start with the DNA of some other mammal. DNA is inherently ambitious. Those microbes that didn't seek to replicate and survive didn't. So you could view this as a contest between the bioengineers and the computer engineers to see who will be first in developing superintelligence. Will our successor species be carbon-based or silicon-based? What should this committee do? Most immediate is the area of artificial intelligence. We fund it, we develop it, we authorize it. The U.S. government is critical to it. And as we develop smarter and smarter computers, we should direct 1 or 2% of the effort to preventing self-awareness, ambition, self-initiative, and autonomy. This should be done both by requiring that those who do research in AI have separate studies focused on that and build it in. Otherwise, they'll pay lip service to this issue, but they'll focus on the immediate issue, the thing they're trying to do. When it comes to genetic engineering, we should prohibit any effort to increase the intelligence of any life form. I don't care if they create a fatter cow or a leaner cow. I do not want to eat a smarter cow, let alone what can be done to create levels of intelligence either above that of a human being or just below. Finally, we had hearings in Foreign Affairs that I chaired last decade on using the Non-Proliferation Act as a plan to deal with this internationally. But I think that the U.S. has to develop its own standards before we'll be effective in dealing with the world. I chair the Asia Subcommittee now, and I talked facetiously with a Chinese foreign ministry official. I told him that the computers that displace humankind will be created in California, not Shanghai. Therefore, America wins. No, I don't reach that conclusion. It was a facetious one. So I look forward to working on this committee to make sure that as we move forward with these in two important areas of scientific development, artificial intelligence and genetic engineering, that we have the appropriate controls and that we do not create a replacement species without even thinking about it. And I yield back.
Thank you very much. Mr. Upton. Tipton, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm in politics. You can't believe what I get called. So, thank you, Chairwoman Johnson and Ranking Member Lucas. I appreciate you very much opening up the process for legislation of those that are not on the committee to be able to address issues that will certainly impact all of us here at home. Since the 1960s, the U.S. has dominated space exploration and has excelled in aeronautical innovation. My state of Colorado has played a critical role in the success of this, serving as a home to one of the largest aerospace industries in the country. In my office, we consistently meet with stakeholders who have engaged us in the newer issue of space